So in the last video, I talked about how we are training ChatGPT to follow Butler Branding's brand messaging framework, and I've done this for 5 other strategy frameworks. How do you come up with condensing the prompt for AI? So typically, if AI wasn't in the picture, you would have to, as a creative director, as someone giving direction to a creative, let's say a content writer, you would have to give them very clear directions based off of insights that you've learned about your clients. Well, you're doing the same exact thing, but now it's forcing us to get crystal clear so that we're giving AI the best possible prompt. And so in this email that I sent my team, training them on how to train AI for themselves, I gave them, there's a slide here that says condensing the prompt. Basically, there's a series of, it looks like 7 different questions. So at the bare minimum, 7 different questions that you have to answer in as much detail as you need, and saying everything that you need to say and nothing else. So that means be as detailed as you possibly can, as well as being reductive as you possibly can. So you don't want to put too many words, but you also don't want to put too few. So it's kind of that, finding that sweet balance. So in this condensing the prompt slide, I say make sure to say everything that needs to be said about the brand and no more. A simple rule to follow to answer is answering the following questions as concisely as possible. First question: what is the company? Okay, answer it with as much detail as being reductive as possible. What is the company? Who is the primary audience? What problem do they have? What is the solution? What will they experience after they work with us? What action do we want them to take? And what is our primary marketing goal? So for you to get the answers to those questions, there's a lot more other questions that you'll have to ask your clients, but you're gonna generate those insights through a discovery process. You're gonna get the answers and condense them into really concise answers to those 7 questions. What is the company? Who's the primary audience? What problem do they have? What is our solution? What are they gonna experience after they work with us? What action do we want them to take? What are our primary marketing goals? I'm gonna give you an example. This is the prompt that I gave ChatGPT in answering those questions for Butler Branding, and we could in fact do this live. So this is me condensing the prompt for Butler Branding in order to write brand messaging using our messaging framework. So the answers to those questions as developed into a paragraph, it says, write brand messaging for Butler Branding, a full-service creative agency that specializes in brand strategy, brand identity, website design, videography, photography, and content marketing. Butler Branding has an already existing website. I give the URL. Its audiences include growing brands who want to do more and better with their brand but don't know where and how to start. So they're looking for a full-service creative agency to provide strategic insight and direction that will help propel their brand forward. Butler Branding loves working with mission-driven brands who are typically over $2 million in gross annual revenue. Butler Branding would like to compete against local competitors, more closely align with its brand with agencies such as Pentagram, Basic Agency, and Liquid Agency. Butler Branding's tagline is, "We help mission-driven brands stand out, get noticed, and communicate their message beautifully." Butler Branding is on a mission to help 1 million brands feel proud of their branding. This is Butler Branding's mission to 1 million. The 3 core services are brand strategy, brand identity, and content marketing. However, Butler Branding also has a video studio called Butler Studios that offers commercial photography and video production. So that is my condensed prompt for AI to tell it to write brand messaging for, and then paste it in here. This would typically, again, take me about a week to receive anything back from my content writer, content strategist, for me to give them either approval or feedback, and I'm watching it unfold right before my eyes. It doesn't mean that it's gonna be perfect or 100% there, but at least it's gonna give me a creative direction. So let's see what this comes up with, based off the Butler Branding brand messaging framework. Tagline: unleashing visual storytelling for brands with a mission. Value proposition: at Butler Branding, we breathe life into your mission-driven brand, transforming your vision into compelling visuals that command attention and spark conversations. Through our expert content marketing and photography services, we illuminate your brand's unique essence and pave the way for meaningful connections. You've built a brand. This is the elevator pitch. You built a brand with purpose, passion, and promise. Now it's time to tell your story in a way that captures the heart and mind. At Butler Branding, we specialize in creating stunning, impactful content that resonates deeply with your audience. From content strategy that aligns with your mission to captivating photography that showcases your brand's authenticity. We're more than just a creative agency. We're your partners in crafting a narrative that inspires, engages, and leaves a lasting imprint. Step into the spotlight with Butler Branding. Here's a list of all of our services, and it gives them, and then it tells our brand promise. Now, here's the thing. I might say, that's okay, but again, if I were to work with my content writer, I think this is good. It's very vanilla. I would have to tell him to go back to the drawing board and give me another example. And so I'm going to tell it, give me 2 more examples of this brand messaging for Butler Branding, but make the voice more straightforward / direct and clever. I want it to be punchy. Let's see what it does with that. Maybe my creative capacity isn't too much to give it more direction than that. But give me 2 more examples of this brand messaging for Butler Branding, but make the voice more straightforward and direct and clever, right? Because it was kind of like, vanilla. I'm going to actually tell it that. I felt this first round was a little too plain vanilla to add. I want to add more personality, but not overly done. There you go. Let's see what it does. I'm not going to read all of it, but again, it's getting us 85, maybe 90% of the way there, and then you could just keep nerding out and getting creative with this. So tagline example 1, fueling brands that matter, one snap and strategy at a time. Maybe. We're the butler for your branding manner. Ooh, I do not like this. Tidying up your content and snapping your brand into the limelight. With us, your mission gets the spotlight it deserves, and your narrative never gets lost in the sauce. I kind of like some of this. I don't know if I would use all of this, but example 2, big stories for big missions. That's how we roll. I actually like that. Big stories for big missions. Value proposition. We're Butler Branding, your one-stop storytelling shop for mission-driven brands. With a knack for nailing narratives, we take your brand from to wow. I like that. We take your brand from to wow in the blink of a shutter. Very cool. Again, I could sit here for 15 minutes and, kind of geek out on different examples. Sometimes it's going to be good enough to just move on. But the cool part about this, I don't know if you understand how powerful this is. This just saved me about a week and a half of going back and forth with my content writer on this because I'm just interacting with it in real time. The bottom line is that you have to have a framework for developing whatever strategy you have. B is you have to get really good at giving a prompt and training AI on how to follow your framework. So you have a framework, you train AI on your framework, and then you get really good at condensing your prompt. I've given you 7 questions to help condense your prompt, and then you can nerd out and have a good time with ChatGPT.